What is up, guys? Welcome back to Across the Board. You have your two normal hosts, Alpha Dog here with JD from Line Movers. And guys, you already know who's below us. We do have Jammer Betts, our resident Thursday co-host. Jammer, as always, we are pumped you're here. Made time out of your busy schedule. We appreciate that. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Fantastic. Hot weekend in the NFL. Got a little bit of MLB today, some college football, NFL. Man, it doesn't get much better. We got the weekend starting tomorrow.
That is right. We've had some comments in the chat the last couple days where people have said we really missed football. We hate these dog days where it's just baseball. Don't worry, everyone. We've made it to another weekend. You have the next 5 days of football every single day, including a 2-game Monday Night Football slate. So that's going to be exciting. We will be getting into that. Not today. We will get into those games Monday. But today's show, we will be breaking down an MLB game for you. All of us went through the MLB slate. We picked our favorite matchup. Then we're going to go through 3 college football games. And then, of course, we're going to finish with the Jets-Patriots tonight. Before we do get going, we do have a comment in the chat. Nick Castrucci, who's here all the time. We appreciate you. Happy Thursday, fellas. Big energy. We got the energy. JD told me this is his favorite show of the week, and he is bringing the heat. JD, we haven't seen you yet today. How are you, my friend?
Yes, sir. I'm actually doing great. Today's slate, it is actually really good. So yeah, I'm actually really pumped. So
I am as well. There's some really big plays I have on the slate, some games I absolutely love, which starts with our first game. You guys ready to dive into our only MLB breakdown of the day?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, fellas. First and only MLB breakdown is going to be the Phillies visiting the Mets tonight. Pitching for the Phillies is Taijuan Walker. Do I need to read you guys the stats? Because I'm sure you guys basically know what they are. He's 3-6 with a 6.3 ERA. Not too great. On the other side is Luis Severino. Sevy is 10-6 with 3.7 ERA. Jammer, we'll start with you. Any action you like in today's Phillies-Mets game?
Oh, yeah. Me and Taijuan Walker, we go back, man. He is a fun pitcher to fade, and that's kind of where I'm heading today. Phillies coming off a gut shot loss last night versus the Brewers in the bottom of the ninth. And they're traveling once again today into enemy territory to face the surging New York Mets, fresh off a 3-game sweep of the Nationals, and have won 15 of their last 19 games. Oh, man, it's tough not to see this team stay hot today versus Taijuan Walker. He pitched well in his last outing, but it is tough for this guy to even find himself outside the 4th inning. I'm expecting a lot of hits, a lot of runs early for this Mets team. Just kind of put this Phillies team out of it early. I'm going to be targeting the first 5 total at 4.5, and I'm also going to be targeting the Mets' first 5 on the run line. Just fading Taijuan Walker on about every place we can.
Are either of those official plays? You're still deciding, so you'll probably have one posted later, or is there one you like more than the other?
I'm going to go official on the first 5 over. I'll probably do like a personal half unit on the Mets first 5, but I'm a big fan of that first 5 over.
All right. I'll dive into my pick on this game, guys, and I'm very similar on the same wavelength as Jammer here. When you look at Taijuan Walker, he's even worse on the road. He has an over 7 ERA on the road this season. I don't need to explain to you guys anything. That's about 7 runs per 9 innings. That's atrocious. And the Mets have been the best team in baseball over the last, let's say, month or so. They absolutely need this game. They have a slight lead in the wild card standings. They need to hold on to make the playoffs. The Braves are surging. This is a big game for them. And the Phillies trotting out Taijuan Walker is an interesting move. Taijuan Walker has lost 10 of his last 12 games. The team overall, not him specifically, he hasn't recorded the loss, but in the last 12 games that he's been the starter, the Phillies have lost 10 of them. I know that he just recently saw the Mets last week, I believe on the 14th, so this is his second start in a row against this Mets team. However, he only went 3 innings in that game. The game before, he only went 2 innings. The game before, he only went 3 innings. This guy can't give them any length right now. He's getting beaten up early. He's getting knocked out of the games. So even if we do not get to him early, I do think the Mets will get to the bullpen if they don't get to him. It'll have to be a very long bullpen game because, like we just said, he hasn't been able to get out of the 3rd inning. So I do expect the Mets to get this done. This is my favorite baseball play by far of the day. Give me the Mets on the money line at a -135. JD, we making this a family sweep, 3-0 on the Mets, or do you like the Phillies or total?
Yeah, we actually definitely are here. Y'all actually broke this actually came down very well. The Mets, they actually really need this game. Well, actually, both teams do. But the Mets actually definitely need this game more though. Y'all like broke down this game really, really well. The only thing I have to really add here is the price. To me, it just doesn't really make sense. This is a really cheap price. I have this game priced at actually minus 165. So yeah, this is by far actually my favorite game. Give me the Mets. Give me on the money line at a minus 135.
Do you think it's potentially because the Phillies have owned them this season? I mean, the Phillies are 6-3 this year in the regular season against the Mets. Maybe the line is a little indicative off the seasonal performance. What do you think, JD?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can really think of.
Me too.
Because besides that, I really can't find anything else.
And you know how I bring this up occasionally. I do try to get it in at least once per show, but the ESPN BPI is giving the Mets a 65% chance to win this game, and that's pretty indicative of the line. I think this is a clear Mets play, but it is a little fishy with the way the line is. I agree to you. When I did see it at minus 135, I did wonder, why is it so low? It probably should be closer to a minus 150, but I really am a huge fader of Taijuan Walker. He has done me great this year. I have not bet on him, and I've won a lot of money on betting against him, and I am going to do that yet again. So I do anticipate another strong result from everyone's good friend, Taijuan Walker. Let's keep it moving right along, fellas, and we are officially in the college football hour. We have 3 college football games we are breaking down, and to me, this is one of the best games of the weekend, at least one of the games I'm most looking forward to. We have USC coming in 11th in the country, visiting Michigan, who's ranked 18th in the country. USC is coming in undefeated, 2-0. They've looked strong since transitioning to the Big Ten. On the other side, Michigan, they have struggled this year. They've only played really one real opponent, and that was Texas. They got demolished 30-12. This really isn't the same Michigan team without Jim Harbaugh, without a lot of the same guys they had last year. They really are not anywhere close to a championship caliber team, but neither is USC. So to me, this is a very good matchup. First Big Ten matchup for USC. Jammer, we'll go to you. What do you like?
Oh, man, like you said, big game here. And I think that the storyline for this game might be best explained from the spread. Preseason, we saw Michigan as high as minus 13 on some books. And I mean, now we're seeing USC entering the big house as a 5.5 point favorite. Large swing there, especially after how we saw Michigan perform against Texas.
Yeah.
But again, big story this week is Michigan announced on Monday that they would be making a quarterback change to Alex Orji, the dual threat quarterback. A lot of people thought that he would take the job over, but after J.J. McCarthy left, but we saw him open up the season second on the depth chart. I think it's kind of weird to see him announce this, early into the week. Sometimes there might be like a little bit of a gamesmanship, trying to keep that hidden from the other teams. So, I mean, you're giving the opposing USC defense an entire week to kind of prep for this new quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we see Michigan do, play both quarterbacks here just to kind of throw off the USC defense, throw out a little hook and line of, hey, we're starting this new running quarterback, but, we might mix in the other quarterback here and there. But this guy is not a throwing quarterback. He is a big runner. In his college career, he's only attempted 7 passes, 4 of them being completed for a total of only 20 yards. It's going to be tough to see if he can keep the sticks moving here, but I mean, he's a freak athlete, but I think that giving him a week to prepare for this guy, I'm liking USC on the road here. I don't like what I saw out of Michigan last week. They just got absolutely blown out by an SEC team. Give me USC traveling across the states. I like them at 5.5. I like them to maybe even win by double digits.
Wow. Well, here's one thing I have to say about Davis Warren, the former starting quarterback of Michigan. I know that you said the new quarterback can't really throw. Well, this guy couldn't really throw either, Davis Warren. He has 2 touchdowns on the year to 6 interceptions. They had to make the change. They had no other option. His QBR on the year is a 35.2, and think of it like a test grade. 35.2 is extremely bad. And I do like this USC team. It pains me to say because I was not high on them preseason. I did think they would struggle in the transition to the Big Ten. We all know how this USC team has gotten big boyed on the defensive side for the last couple of years. They have not had the high-quality defense that they've needed to compete. But I do think they have it this year. They're a much stronger team, and I do think they're the much better team than Michigan. I am all over USC on the spread this week. I think it's a definite play for me, and I'm taking the minus 5.5. USC, like I said, is the much better team here, and I just don't trust Michigan. They're still getting some points, a little favoritism because of how good they were last year. But when you look at how they've done this year, they're 0-3 against the spread. They have still yet to cover a game. And when you look at USC, they have covered every single game they've played. They've covered both games. So give me USC. They're the team that's playing better. And to me, I think they're the much better team overall. JD, any action from you?
Yeah. To me, just actually like Jammer said, it's a very interesting game with a very interesting line. Before the season started, you actually could have gotten USC at actually plus 10 everywhere. So now that line is flipped at actually all the way to actually them actually favored by actually minus 5.5 now. If you look and just think back, as far as actually Texas, Texas was just in this same spot, and actually they were on the road and they were favored by 6.5, right?
Yep.
So is actually USC? Actually, like, are actually USC or actually USC and Texas? Are they on the same level? No. I mean they are definitely not. So for me, as far as the eye test, yes. I mean, actually, like USC is the play, but just like looking at all these numbers, there's no way I can possibly lay this. To me, that just, for actually me and like a numbers brain, that just it just doesn't make sense. So for me, but then again, as far as the other side, and then actually taking plus the points, I actually definitely can't take that. But for me, as far as the model here, it actually I have this total at actually 51. That's a lot higher than actually like I thought it would be. But this total just keeps getting bet down. And I think it's bet down to the point now where I have to play over. In this type of game, that doesn't sound like a fun bet. But that's what I'm going to have to do. Give me the over. I can get a 44 now. So yeah, give me that.
That's an extremely low line, especially with how many points USC's been scoring. I do think Michigan's going to be down, so they're going to have to be throwing and trying to get it back, which will be difficult with the quarterback they have back there. But I do see this one going over as well, so I definitely agree with you there. 2 of us on USC and 1 of us on the over. Let's get a high-scoring USC victory. Let's keep it moving right along, fellas, to the second college football game we are covering, which is going to be 6th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers, who are traveling to Oklahoma, taking on the Sooners. Both teams are coming in 3-0. Tennessee with a massive spread, a 7.5-point spread on the road at Oklahoma, and I do think a lot of that has to do with Jackson Arnold, the quarterback of Oklahoma. He has just not been a top-tier guy. He's made a ton of mistakes. He's looked good against a defense kind of like Tulane, but he looked horrendous against Houston. If his legs were not getting involved in that game, they would have lost, and Tennessee's defense is significantly better than any defense that Oklahoma has seen so far this year, probably why the line is all the way at a 7.5. Jammer, we're starting with you. What you got?
All right. Starting off with me, I'm just going to pop out a fun little stat here about Oklahoma. The last time Oklahoma was a home underdog was 2016. The Sooners have not been a home underdog of 7 points or more since 1997. So we are seeing a big play here potentially for the home Sooners. So let's travel back here. Let's go talk about Tennessee first, though. They have absolutely blown by their first 3 opponents, nearly outscoring every team by 60-plus points. But this is going to be the first big test for the freshman quarterback for the Volunteers. Yep. First big game on the road against a tough SEC Oklahoma team. That's a big test for a freshman quarterback. Sooners and their young starting quarterback, Jackson Arnold, haven't looked the best, like you said, Alpha, struggling against the likes of Houston and Tulane. But I just think getting a touchdown at home could be a gift. It's going to be a tall task keeping up with that high-scoring Vols offense, but I'm just a sucker for home underdogs like this. So I'm going to be all over the Oklahoma Sooners plus 7.5. I'm even going to sprinkle a little on the money line. But yeah, just an official one will be the plus 7.5.
I am on an opposite wavelength as you, my friend. I am all over Tennessee in this spot. I've watched all of Oklahoma's games, and Jackson Arnold has really struggled. This guy really struggles moving the ball in the air, and I've watched these Tennessee games as well. Their offense is elite. I don't say that about a lot of college teams, but they're a top 5 offense, and there's no debating that. They're an elite offense, and I do think their quarterback, Nico, will perform in his first road game. It will be a tough task. A lot of people I've seen are on the first half in this game for Tennessee. I don't agree to that. I think Tennessee's going to have a monster second half. I think it is going to take them some time to get into this game with the crowd noise and everything like that. But once this team does get settled, I see them flying down the field over and over and over again. I expect them to score at least 40 to 45 points in this game. And if they're able to put up that kind of total, they will definitely cover this in this game. So give me Tennessee with the points minus 7.5. I definitely think they're going to get it done. JD, what you got?
Alpha, I am on the same side as you, kind of.
Okay.
So the first half, I actually like that more.
Okay.
But to just kind of start off here, the Sooners are going to have to score here. They're going to have to put up points.
Oh yeah.
And for me, it's just as simple as that. Honestly, I don't think that they're going to be able to. They're going to have to score a lot of points, and I just do not see that. Then as far as the first half, though, I actually really like Tennessee there. As far as with actually Josh Heupel led teams, him in the first half, actually ATS are 43-17-2.
Wow.
All of the teams that he's coached, which has only been 2, but they all get out fast. They all have good starts. And then you're probably thinking, all right, actually a road team, actually it's probably not as good there. Well, on the road, those same teams are actually 22-7. So he just has his teams ready to actually go. And I think they're just going to jump out here and actually lead quick. Give me Tennessee in the first half at a minus 3.5.
All right. Well, let's see a ton of points from Tennessee. So you and I are happy, and Jammer is pissed off. That's what the entire world wants to see from this game. But no, we have some different opinions here. Listen back if you guys missed it, see who you agree with, and let's keep moving. Final college football game that we are reviewing today, guys, is going to be the Kansas State BYU game. 13th ranked Kansas State coming into this game on the road, taking on BYU. Both teams are 3-0. Kansas State surprised me last week. There's nothing I could say. I was on Arizona, but Kansas State shut me up, and quarterback Avery Johnson had an unbelievable game. Do we see a similar performance from Kansas State this weekend? The spread is 7.5, so it's very similar to a couple of the other games we talked about, like the Tennessee game. JD, we haven't started with you yet. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, guys. You actually know, like last week, I actually came on and said actually K-State, this number was crazy. You actually know, like I said, actually, we were going to come back and I was going to say, we're going to look back and say, hey, this number was nuts. And right. It definitely was. They won, I think, 31-7.
Yep.
This week, I think it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I have this number way off. So actually, as far as this actually Kansas State team, I'm not sure if I'm just higher on them than actually most. But I have this number at actually 12.3. So actually, once again, I am way off. As far as actually BYU, they might actually kind of be good. I actually didn't think that they were. But the first 3 games, they have definitely played well.
All covers too. They've covered every single game.
Right. And I think that we're getting this number because of that. And then also, as far as late night games there, wild shit, just like, it just happens. There's actually not much else to actually say there, but it's literally just wild shit. So I think that's why the number is actually low. For me, this is probably my favorite play. And I also have Kansas State here. I have them scoring probably in the 31 to 32 point range. So I actually love 2 plays here. Give me Kansas State at actually the -6 and -115, and also give me their team total over 27.5 at -108.
All right. I do like at least one of those plays. The other one, you'll understand why I say at least one. I'm on the under in this game, guys. I think this one is going to stay in the low 40s. I do think Kansas State's going to have no problem scoring, but I do think BYU is going to struggle to get points on the board. Kansas State's defense looked fantastic last week. I'm hoping that Tulane game was just a hiccup for them. They may have not taken them seriously as they gave up 27 points to them, but I do think they'll play a much better game here against BYU. It's a late night game. It may take Kansas State a little bit to get rolling as well. Kansas State's a very run-dominant team as well. So if they keep the ball on the ground, we see this clock tick, I think we will see a comfortable under. Currently, the total's at 47.5, and that's exactly what I am playing. Jammer, what you got?
So last week, I spoke very highly of this K-State team, and, honestly, I think I'm going to do the same thing this week. BYU is a great team. Like you said, Alpha, they're 3-0. They're 3-0 against the spread. They're also 2-1 to the over. But I just fully expect to see this budding duo of Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards to continue to shine this week. Spoke highly on those guys last week. They combined for 3 touchdowns. Avery Johnson looked great, had 2 passing touchdowns, looked great on the ground as well. Had over 100 rushing yards. Dylan Edwards had a punt return for a touchdown, kept the sticks moving on offense, caught the ball, ran the ball well. I just love these two. I think it's a great duo. And I'm looking for the Wildcats to pull away. They might struggle in the first half like they did versus Tulane on the road. A late game in BYU. But I'm just looking for them to just stay consistent, win the game, pull away late. Kansas State -6.5, -6, whatever your book has. Give that to me. I also love the team total that JD said. I was on the over last week. Kansas State put up points, but their defense just really shut down Arizona.
Yep.
So I like them to put up points. Maybe full game under, like Alpha said, but Kansas State's putting up 30+.
So if we see a 35-0 ball game, I think every single person is here
that.
happy. The viewers will be happy as well, so that's exactly what we're all looking for here. Fellas, it's time. That's going to complete our college football segment. But a lot of people, we have about 1,000 people here right now, are definitely interested in our Patriots versus the Jets picks. Let's go to Jammer. Jammer, we have a great matchup here between the Patriots and the Jets. It's an AFC East battle. Who would have thought that this both teams would come into this game 1-1? I thought the Patriots would be a lot worse than they are, but their defense is legit. They are able to run the ball, and their new coach Mayo has done a fantastic job. Jammer, what do you like in this game? Do you have any props? Do you have a side? Do you have a total?
I got a couple here, actually, but let me just open up my segment by saying that this is going to be an ugly game. It's written in the 38.5 point total. It's written in the player prop totals. It's written in damn near every article you read surrounding this game. But the glory about what we do is that there's always a winning side to these bets, and that's the fun that comes with what we do here. So, you already spoke on. Well, I guess we got the big return of Aaron Rodgers to MetLife Stadium. The 4-time MVP. He looked mediocre in his first 2 starts, but he gets that added level of comfort of playing in front of the home fans, for essentially the first time since being a Jet. As we all know, that big Achilles injury happened last year, Monday night on September 11th.
Sure did.
So to add again to that layer of protection that they get at playing at home, Patriots are missing their top linebacker and leading tackler from last season, Juwan Bentley. The Jets have issues of their own on defense. They got a couple injuries in the linebacker spot, and they're also missing their big offseason addition in Hassan Reddick. He just refuses to sign the deal, and he just hold out.
It's crazy, Jammer. So speaking about these injuries, I do want to chime in here. When you look at the Jets, it looks like Mosley's not going to be able to go, and Jermaine Johnson, their best current pass rusher, is out for the year with a torn ACL or torn Achilles, one or the other. I forget which it is. Either way, he is out for the year. This team has no pass rush. With no Reddick, no Johnson, no Mosley, how are they going to get in the backfield? I had to just chime in with their injuries in the pass rush.
Man, that's the big question. But the thing is that the Patriots got some injuries of their own. They might potentially be missing 2 of their offensive linemen. And they've been running the ball well, running for over 170+ yards in the first 2 games. But again, this missing offensive lineman now, you're shifting some people in. That might help the Jets there on defense with their lack of pass rushers. So I think that there's a couple plays that I'm looking here. It sickens me to do this, but we got to go back to the primetime unders. I'm going to be looking at that Patriots Jets under 38.5. I'm going to see what happens with that line throughout the day, but it's a weird number, but I just see this being like a 20-17 game, 17-14, just very, very ugly. Another player that I like in this game, Breece Hall, over 4.5 receptions. I was sitting at plus money last night. I haven't double checked this morning, but I'm assuming it's still right around there. He had 5 receptions the first game, 7 receptions in the second. Pretty sure he's leading the team in targets. He just seems to be Aaron Rodgers' little safety valve, you know. He's taken over 70% of the snaps in the first 2 games. So I like him to kind of dominate that run share against the young 20-year-old Braylon Allen, which leads me into my third and final play in this game. I'm going to be fading Braylon Allen after his hot week last week. I'm going to be taking his under 22.5 rushing yards. I think we'll see less of him tonight, more of Breece Hall. I mean, he's a young 20-year-old. He had a big week last week, but on the short week against this tough Patriots defense, I think we're going to see more Breece Hall than we do Braylon Allen.
Well, great point you put there. And if you see on the middle of the screen, you may have seen me and JD laughing a little bit because me and JD did a collab player prop for this game sponsored by Outlier, guys. If you don't know about Outlier, they're the best tool to find props. They tell you how many it's hit in their last 5 games, their last 10 games, head to head. And Jammer, you gave out our play of the day. This was not planned in advance. That's why we were both laughing. But we also agree that Breece Hall over 4.5 receptions is one of the best props on the board. This has hit in 80% of his last 10, as well as 80% of his last 5 games. So this is hitting quite frequently. This is going to be an ugly game. We see it the exact same way you do, and we see Breece Hall being utilized out of the backfield a ton in the passing game. So, Jammer, great play. We love that one.
Love it.
Let's move right along, guys. I'll give out my plays on this game. You kind of stole my thunder here because the under is one of my favorite plays that we've had on the year so far. This is going to be a disgusting game. This is going to be a run the ball all night long type of game. And one of the things you mentioned is that there's some injuries for the Patriots offensive line. The good thing about this Patriots team and the way that they're running on offense is they have a backup tackle named Caden Wallace. Caden Wallace is being used as a backup tight end. So they're bringing 6 linemen in and they're running the ball to the outside. By doing that, they're forcing the cornerbacks to make tackles, and they're beating up on their arms and body all game long. Every team has known what the Patriots are going to do. The Bengals knew what they were going to do. Exactly what the game plan is for them is to run the ball to the outside and let Ramondre Stevenson barrel over guys. And that's what they're going to do over and over and over. I absolutely love Jacoby Brissett under 174.5 passing yards today. I think it's going to be a huge Ramondre Stevenson game. I'm on Ramondre Stevenson over yards as well. I think he's going to be running rampant. And I'm on the under, like I said, under 38.5. If I did have to pick a side on this game, I would be picking the Patriots. I think this one stays close. I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. And these AFC East battles are typically run-it-out kind of games. And I think we're going to get a classic 1990s-style Jets-Patriots run-the-ball every play type of game. I know Aaron Rodgers is back, but his mobility isn't. Unfortunately, we have seen that he does not move well anymore, and they're going to get blitzed all game long. They're going to have to run the ball. So, like I said, I love the under in this game. My props are going to be Ramondre Stevenson over 63.5 rushing yards. I also love Jacoby Brissett under 174.5 passing yards. JD, what you got in the big game?
Yep. Actually, just like y'all said, this is probably going to be a really ugly game. To me, as far as the spot wise goes, this is a clear Jets spot here. Literally everything about this spot to me screams Jets. You have a head coach. He is actually making his first Thursday night start here. Coaches in that spot, they tend to not do well. Trying to get the road team up on an actual short week. It's just tough. And then on Thursday nights, there's why I always look towards, like I always try to look for the actual home team. And to me, literally everything about this screams that. A lot of people that I've talked to about this game, their actually numbers for this game are around like 7.5. Mine is actually 9.1. I have this way off, which kind of it actually kind of scares me here. And laying a big number with the Jets, that just doesn't sound like fun.
Ever.
No, it really doesn't. But tonight, for me, literally everything says that. So for me, yeah, I just have to play the Jets at the at the -6 line here. Yeah.
And you made a great point last week where you said you like to target on Thursday night games, the home team. I know you just said that as well, but you were absolutely right last week when you said that. So you may be right yet again. My best bets yet again are going to be the under. Jammer's best bet is the under as well. And JD likes the Jets. So guys, that's going to do it for the NFL or the college football show of Across the Board. We got to thank our regular Thursday guest, Jammer Betts, who came on, gave it a lock, gave you some winners, and this guy's one of the best in the business. If you're not already following him, you see down there his @ Make sure on the Bluebird, Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call the app nowadays, you go follow him. Y'all already follow JD, and while you're at it, come follow me as well. We will be back tomorrow with the NFL edition. Jammer, we'll see you next Thursday for your college football special. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Still 1,300 people in here, but get out of here. We're done. We'll see you tomorrow.
Do we want to do some best bets?
Didn't we do best bets? I missed that completely. Well, that was a good job by me there. We're going to best bets. JD, you're going to kick it off because we're back.
Okay, here. Let me actually give out a few here. Okay, as far as the Thursday games, as far as tonight's games, let's go back to that. Let's go back to the baseball game. Give me the Mets on the money line at -135. Then in tonight's football game, we just talked about it. Give me the Jets at actually the -6. Then let's jump to Saturday. I'm going to give out two best bets for actually then also. Give me Tennessee in the first half at actually -3.5. And then give me that Kansas State at -6. And then also their team total over 27.5 at -108.
Love it. All right, boys. I'll go over my best bets for the day, which I already pulled up, even though I forgot to go through it. Brees Hall over 31.5 receiving yards. I love that play. Jacoby Brissett under 163.5. Mets money line tonight at -135, as well as I like the under 38.5 in the Thursday night football game. Jammer, welcome back. What you got?
Good to be back. All right, so best bets. Sticking to today, you can check my page for the college games on Friday and Saturday. I'm just going to stick to best bets for tonight. Give me that first 5 over 4.5 in the Phillies-Mets game. We spoke about it earlier. Fade Taijuan Walker. You will not regret it. Over 4.5 in that game. Back to NFL. Shout out Outlier Bet. We're taking that over 4.5 receptions for Brees Hall. I just love him being that little safety valve for Aaron Rodgers. Think he might be under a lot of pressure tonight. Look for a lot of quick dump-off passes to him. Give me that over 4.5 at plus money. And then I'm also just riding with that under 38.5 in the full game. Look for a disgusting game. Can't be high scoring. And if it lands on 20-17, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket. So
I hope it does.
For tonight, 2017 Jets.
Let's get it, fellas. Well, now we've given everyone the plays. We've done the best bets. We will be back tomorrow. Jammer will be back next Thursday. And yet again, we appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. JD, as we always do, say goodbye to the people.
Let's win.